Alright. Okay, how's it going? So this is the Minstrel Blues track by track, and this is Henry, I'm Matt, and today we're going to do a Classy, which is track 5 of the album. How did you make that one, Henry?
Classy is the midway point in the album, as you all know. But for a while I thought the whole album was going to be, I didn't know how many tracks there were going to be, but I thought the whole album would be dark. The subject matter, I really liked to pick those words and everything. But then I went back home for 3 months in southern France with my parents, and it was a very calm and relaxing time. It was a nice break, and it was pretty peaceful. And I guess I just sort of wrote that when I was there, and that probably mimicked my state of mind at the time. And I went from thinking, one day I just thought, instead of writing just dark songs, poems, what if half the album were dark and half were more positive? You know, I guess it was how I was feeling at the time. Classy though gave me the idea of something more neutral, something halfway, midway point, and it happened to be track 5. And I thought, well, let's do 9 songs and have 4/4 with one neutral one in the middle. And the word éclairci came to me. Not quite the right word. The word I originally wanted, and I didn't realise till after I'd started writing, was clairière, which means clearing. The idea that you come to the halfway point, you're in this clearing. Éclairci means like a thinning out of like trees at the edge of a forest, say. So it kind of works its way into clearing. It's kind of definitely there and linked, but you just got to roll with the mistakes. I mean, with the mistakes, they're not mistakes.
Yeah, you were waxing lyrical to me off camera a little minute ago about how Minstrel Blues has all been like that. It's all just been like, work really fast, go with what you get. Like, it's not a mistake, it's just like a thing which happened.
I didn't do more than 3 takes on any piano or vocal takes. And I made mistakes on them, and I was like, it doesn't matter. A, because Matt will just magically, electronically make it all work. And because it didn't ruin it much. I felt it was nicer to get the nature of that across than have to kind of put a metronome and make everything right. Loosey-goosey. And
Go on, sorry, yeah.
And lyrically, the idea is that the song number 4 is called like Les Restes, which is kind of like leftovers or residue, like when there's nothing left and you're scraping the end of a barrel, sort of thing. And it leads well into the idea of, you get into this clearing and you're exhausted, you're tired, you're wrecked, and your mind's going blank. You're at the end of this journey that's run its course, and all you want to do is slip into nothingness, forgetfulness, into just not having to, your mind is blank. And this clearing provides that. It's like a moment of respite. It's neither positive nor negative, because the past is still there, it's still weighing on you, but you're not free, but you're too exhausted to do anything about it. You've hit rock bottom, and it can't get any worse. So even though it's not necessarily going to get better immediately, you kind of think it's the start of getting better. And I put all that to the simplest piano ever, which I thought worked well with the idea of neutrality. I played a single chord over and over again, and that's all the song is. I thought, I'm going to write a song which just has a single chord. And it's quite a neutral chord. It's neither positive nor too happy or too sad and negative. And I can't tell you what I'm playing because I don't remember, and I don't know what chord it is because I'm a beginner. I just went boom, I was like, ooh, like it.
Yeah,
And that was it.
yeah, and then that was a super interesting starting point for me. I feel like I riffed off that quite hard actually, because for me it felt like it was like one chord, but you played it in this kind of quite nice expressive way. There was some dynamics on it, and I felt like I was listening to a kind of 1-bar cut out of some complicated piece of impressionist music. I felt like I was listening to a sample of something. Yeah, because you're so amazing and you just felt it so strongly.
What can I say?
So I was kind of enjoying that it was both very static and also quite expressive. So I thought, I want to add some notes here and kind of lift it, but I don't want to lose the kind of harmonic simplicity. So I used this battered old synth box thing called the JV1080, which they used to use in film music, and it's back in the day when you could do synthesized piano, but it didn't sound that great. It was kind of almost there. And you could do synthesized strings, which didn't sound great. They were almost there. So it has this nice quality, which I'm very obsessed with in my own process of kind of being the real thing and being recognizably something, but like being a not quite right artificial version of that. So I really enjoyed how there's this kind of brittle, dreamy piano, which is quite flexible in terms of the notes it can play, but has this kind of hollowed out quality, combining with Henry's piano, which is very weighty and heavy and sounds natural, but is kind of stuck harmonically. So that was kind of fun. I think it's worth saying that this whole thing came out really fast. I think a classy was like a day. Like I say, Novembre, which we were talking about before, which was like months. And rest, we got to version 7. Penumbra we released, no, not Penumbra, Classy we released version 1.5, so much quicker than a lot of the other tracks. And my favourite bit of serendipity is that, so I recorded this dreamy piano, and I wanted it to clip a tiny bit to just get this kind of like papery, brassy, slight clipping. So I had these preamps turned up really high. And then later I was recording something else, and I left these preamps turned recording really high with no sound going into them. And I didn't notice, and they were kind of creating this white noise because they were cranked up really high. And you don't notice when you're hearing a sound, after a while you just don't notice it. And I went back to the start of the track and I was like, something is different here. And I realised that I'd been recording kind of layers and layers of this white noise. Not quite white noise, like weird noise. And it had stereo width because it was different on different channels. And it just sounded completely beautiful. It was completely accidental. And we were talking just now about how, like, metaphorically white noise is such a good thing for this track. It's like sleep and it's like blankness. You know, it's more peaceful than before, but it's not like everything's finished yet. You're just like running out, you're exhausted, you're blank. And it just like kind of happened by accident. I just ran with it.
It's like the character's overheated, so there's still like a you know, like he's turned off. And you know, but there's this white noise.
Yeah.
He's not peaceful. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like my gears overheated, right? Well, that was a classy. I had a really good time with this one.
And it sounds meditative and beautiful. I think it's really nice.
And I think probably, you can tell me if you disagree, but between us, it was the one that we liked between us the most, right?
Probably the one where we both went. Well, hence why V1.5.
Yeah.
We didn't need to work on it more. It just worked on both angles.
Yeah, that's the track. Do you reckon it's fading in right now?
The white noise.
The white noise.
Probably is. Yeah.
Et au milieu, une éclaircie. De taille variante et bien jolie. Pantelant, courbé, dégarni, j'y rentre. Je déambule lourdement sous le poids d'expériences oubliées, de leçons passées malmenées, sinueux et ondulant, simultanément vieux, adolescent, vide de comblement, acharné de force d'esprit, j'hume cette terre. Je saisis ce moment de répit pour cueillir ce petit brin de bruyère et m'étendre sur cette vieille terre. Je n'erre plus. Je souffle avec le vent. Je respire. Je m'étire, je craque avec l'écorce des troncs d'arbres, je soupire langoureusement, plongeons profondément en ronronnant, somnambulant paisiblement au creux de la clairière. Ce sein nourrissant, mal étendu l'été, maintenant bercé, reposant, laissant passer toute pensée présente, passée ou encore à venir. en paix momentanée, dans le plaisir du vide de l'éclaircie.